What do you get when you cross a know-it-all newspaper columnist with an awkward, unsophisticated everyman?
Yeah. Well, I'm just not sure about that right now.
Welcome to Couch and the Rube.
Welcome to Couch and the Rube, presented by Skymint Premium Cannabis. Inspiring people to do better, love better, look better, just feel better every damn day of your lives. And our Wednesday night show, our late week show this week, brought to you by our friends at Firekeepers Casino and the Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook app. Download the app today, play the games we are playing, and it's an outstanding user-friendly experience. And also, if you want the sportsbook experience, Dacey's Sportsbook is just down the road from many of us, just off I-94 near Battle Creek at Firekeepers Casino. Jason, how you doing, man?
What's up, buddy? What day is it again? Twitter question, hump day?
Wednesday.
Wednesday, okay.
It's confusing.
It is.
It's going to be a confusing summer for our listeners.
Sure is.
Because we're either doing Twitter questions on Wednesday or Saturday. And if we're doing a Twitter questions Saturday show, then we're doing a Wednesday midweek show.
Oh, boy.
And if we're doing a Wednesday midweek show, then we're doing a...
Just check your podcast feed.
Yeah. And if we're doing a Wednesday Twitter question show, then we're doing a Tuesday show. So there will be 3 shows.
Let's go!
It's just going to be a little different.
All right.
We just won't be on Thursdays and Fridays. Anyway.
All right.
So there was a Twitter poll among our listeners today about my worst take.
Yeah.
And
Spawn of stout sponsors, huh?
puts it out there. And Girls 5 Eva.
Now, this is your worst take.
Right, which is, these are not my worst takes. Girls 5 Eva, the show that I love. And
Complete ass.
Love Actually, a movie that I love.
More ass.
My putting out there that I was going to be on Twitter vacation that didn't work.
Supreme ass.
Okay. And the fourth one was GOAT. I don't even remember what the fourth one was. Soccer, anything. Yeah.
Tied right now at 30.8%.
A lot of write-in votes for the Alex Carter, better than Kirk Cousins. And
then you have to have Dexter Rutecki add to this his support for lockdown, school closures, and belief that cloth masks work as his worst takes.
Thank you, Dexter.
Got to keep you honest. Why have fun in a Twitter post ever? What's the point?
So we're going to dig into these Groovy Donut Twitter questions here momentarily, but as we do on every Friday show, we begin with what we're betting this weekend, presented by Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook app. Jason, what are you betting this weekend?
Well, we talked about the golf tournament with Harry yesterday, the Wells Fargo Championship. I still like Leishman finishing a top 20 at plus 220, but Sepp Straka, the sleeper, this guy's underrated, been playing really well, has a win at Honda this year, 50-1 odds. No respect for Sepp Straka. Been playing really good golf. I don't know what his odds are, top 5, top 10, if you want to look at that. Like I say, gambling on golf, we say it, Graham, gambling on golf is ridiculous. So if you want to sprinkle a little bit on Sepp Straka to win, maybe, top 5, top 10 finish, that's what I'm going to be doing this weekend.
All right, there are 3 games I love this weekend. 2 in the Premier League and 1 NBA game. The 2 Premier League games, Liverpool at home against Tottenham, -1 at -137. I just think that's great value. Liverpool is so motivated to win right now, and especially with Man City losing in the Champions League. Like, I don't know where Man City's head is going to be. Like, Liverpool is going to win that game, I think, especially at home. And if they don't win by more than 1, you just get your money back. So I think it's a pretty good bet, and there's a good chance they do. The other game I love, Manchester United, the way they played last week at home, I think they're free of, it's sort of like when you throw a tantrum and you're all cried out. That's where Man United is. Their play at Brighton. Brighton's ass, man. Like, I hate Brighton. I hate the way I just hate everything about Brighton. I hate their lack of offense. Anyway, Man United is a pick'em is -124 on the money line, which basically means if they draw, you get your money back. On the money line is +148. I actually like that too, but play it either way you want. I like Man United at Brighton. I'm not a huge fan of Brighton. In the NBA, I love this Saturday, Golden State -6 against Memphis. Golden State's top shooters shot horribly yesterday, and they still nearly won the game. to me, going back to San Francisco Game 3, I love Golden State -6. I think they win that by, I don't want to say they're going to blow them out, but I think it's a more.
Would it surprise you if they didn't blow them out?
Thanks, big fella.
No, of course not.
Okay.
Yeah, but anyway, those are the games that I love this weekend. Those are the games we're betting, presented by Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook app. All right, are you ready to dig into these Groovy Donuts Twitter questions?
Of course.
Let's do it.
Mojo Jojo, Graham's burner account. If Max Christie gets his second-round grade after the combine, does he still go?
It's a really good question. I mean, because
we don't know.
If you and I got a second-round grade and we didn't look like – and not only do you get a second-round grade, it's not like Xavier Tillman getting a second-round grade where it's like, yeah, but Tillman's done all he can in the college game. I think he's going to make it in the league, and he obviously has. It's like this guy's not ready to be an NBA player yet, and he's got a second-round grade. And the risk of getting a second-round grade, if you wind up in the first – 48 picks. I think there's some guaranteed money. At a certain point, it changes to where you're much more likely to be on a two-way deal. You're much more likely to be spending all the time in the G League. The guaranteed money's less. Their investment in you is a lot less. And so if you get a second-round grade, there's the risk of sliding even further down. I don't know. To me, it just makes sense to come back, but I don't think that's where his head is.
And if you don't want to come back to Michigan State, that's fine, but I would transfer elsewhere.
He can't transfer anymore. He's not in the portal. The deadline is now
the
passed.
deadline. That's true. My bad.
So it's either
I would come back to Michigan State, Max.
Yeah. No, and I it'll be interesting to see what sort of advice he gets, what NBA teams say. And really all it takes is one NBA team to say, "Hey, we believe in you. We'll develop you if you want to be a pro." My guess is he goes. But if you're getting the vibe that a few credible people, that's the other thing. You don't know who he'll listen to, who he'll trust in the NBA world. Like, I can imagine being a 19-year-old kid and some really respected NBA dude. Like, think about when Magic was the GM for the Lakers for a little bit. I saw him at the NBA Combine. I forget which year, but whenever he was the GM, he blew me off. Remember I was trying to talk to him about the Lansing Promise because I'm that kind of dork, and he kind of blew me off.
Shocker.
Yeah, and I was not real pleased with Magic that day, but if a guy like Magic says to you, and you're a second-round pick, hey, I really think you can be a good NBA player, but you'd be better off with another year in college. I don't think we'd take you yet, or you would not. You're not ready for this. If I'm 19 years old and Magic says that to me, I'm probably listening, but I don't know. I don't know where his head
was
is.
Just thinking about Magic going, hey, Magic, it's the Lansing guy. Oh, you mean Ebling? No. Stout? No. Couch. He wants to talk about Lansing Promise for an hour.
That's
all right. Tell him I got to go.
So this is how it went down. The Magic is on the we're like courtside, where all these where you walk into this area where a game is going on at the Combine in Chicago, and he had been talking to some other people, and so I kind of waited patiently, and I just wanted like 5 minutes of time. I was going to do a quick interview on a couple things, but also including the promise, and also just wanted to talk to him about that in general. And Magic with me is one of those things where he sees me. I think he recognizes me. We've talked before, but he doesn't know me. We're not there. But I've been in interview settings before. I've interviewed him one-on-one in Lansing and things like that. But never. He doesn't know me. But anyway, I think right away he was like, oh, and he starts looking over at the court. I gotta go scout this game. It was like the biggest bullshit in the world. He didn't have to scout that game. He didn't care about that game. Magic didn't even want to be the GM. He didn't have to scout that game. He just did not want to get.
Sucks when it happens to you, huh?
Caught up in a conversation with me.
By the way, if Izzo's going to go courtside at the game last night, why not bring Max Christie and sit him down and go, you sure? You want to play in this, huh?
That wasn't a bad idea, by the way, to have guys like Malik Hall and A.J. Hogarth.
Sure.
Two guys who are sort of front men for your team, guys you want to take that next step, and have them, not only do they get that cool experience, not only is that a good recruiting tool for people to see that, but the other thing is, those guys are now courtside, and those are two really good teams to witness. If you're a point guard and you're watching Ja Morant and you're watching Steph Curry, I know he's not kind of a true point guard, but you sort of realize when you're watching Morant, wow, there's another level, right? And you know that if you're a college player, but you really know it when you're courtside.
Watch Curry shooting pregame. He's on another level.
And if you're a guy like Malik Hall, and you're watching Draymond Green, you're watching Xavier Tillman, you're watching Jaren Jackson, you're like, okay, you the NBA is right in front of you there. There's a level to get to there, and you want to be there, and I get why you want to be there, and no doubt. Like I wonder why Max Christie thinks he's ready for that. And you know what? Like I would love. One of us should actually get in touch with Max Christie and make a real concerted effort to do so, and really try and see where his head is. And maybe we'll do that at the Combine. I think that'll be the first time you'll hear from Max Christie. So if you're looking for Max Christie's actual thoughts, because right now there's a lot of sense of, there's several of us, myself included, who hear things about Max Christie secondhand. We hear it from the people who are around his camp. We hear it from, I think we have a good sense of things. I'm not saying we're wrong. But at the Combine, he'll actually have a chance to be interviewed and have a chance to get his voice out there, and we'll get a real good sense of where his head is. And by the way, that really lousy story about Magic Johnson and me, that is a story almost worth telling, presented by our friends at Midtown Brewing Company, 402 South Washington Avenue in downtown Lansing. You can go to midtownbrewing.net to look at their menu, and just a terrific menu, ever expanding, great brunch menu, great place to go on a date night or after work for a beer. I think I'm headed there later this week, and just can't wait to do so. That's Midtown Brewing Company, 402 South Washington Avenue in downtown Lansing.
You know what, Graham? That wasn't a bad live read, but maybe you want to take some notes.
But first of all, thank you so much to Michigan-based Roast Umber Coffee for sponsoring today's video. If you're a coffee lover like me, give them a try. They got some delicious coffee. And whether you prefer your coffee hot or cold, Roast Umber's got you covered. RoastUmber.com, coupon code TonyD to save yourself 20% off. Okay.
Let's go.
He has a promo code. Hey, Roast Umber. He's got more listeners than we do, probably, right? Or could we do a promo code, like a challenge?
I mean, here's the thing. I don't listen to us. I listen to him. So there's that.
Yeah, but he doesn't have like a podcast. He just does 2-minute videos,
I know.
right?
And
or does he do a podcast? Does he have one?
I don't know.
About Dominic?
I don't know.
All right, Mojo Jojo. At what point does Coach K voice cross over to Chief Wiggum voice?
It's pretty close.
No. No, yeah, of course. I'm
It's
not Dana Carvey. I don't have like a bunch of these in my arsenal.
It's really close.
Here. Next from Mojo Jojo. Graham, it's time we heard your Jason voice. Hashtag impressions sponsored by Firekeepers Casino and Sportsbook.
So I'm not good at impressions, because when I do them when they're forced, when I'm asked to do them,
Skymint Cannabis.
right, like it's going to come across as something that I'd never live down. Like it would become a drop.
There are no dumb questions.
I mean, mine. Yeah, I can't even do Jason right now.
Oh my God, Groovy Donuts. It's so good.
No, they're asking me to do you.
Oh, it's so delicious. Groovy Donuts. Oh, I thought they asked me to do you.
No, yours would be like, no, I was in jail 72 days. I don't know. It's Joe Ingles, weed. I don't know how to do you. I don't know.
Oh, Carl Milak. That was you just saying what I did. Carl Milak, what are your thoughts on the Adam Nightingale MSU hockey hire, and from Mr. Neurotic Pants and Ken Choop? How is Nightingale not just Cole 2.0? Is he not just a Danton Cole clone? And should we be alarmed about the advisory committee was basically made up of people that are no longer involved in college hockey? So I'm in a very much wait-and-see mode with Michigan State hockey at this point. I mean, basically, this September will be 10 years since I took the job at the Journal, and the hockey team has been pretty bad for most of 10 years. There have been rare exceptions where they've been competitive and around 500, but for the most part, they haven't been very good. They haven't been relevant in college hockey in a long time, and at this point, it's seeing is believing. I don't hate the process that came up with the hire of Adam Nightingale. There were bigger names to get. There were bigger ways to win the press conference. But the only thing you have to do if you're Michigan State is not convince guys like me or even your fan base, because your fan base at this point is only going to be convinced when you start winning again. It's convincing recruits and NHL teams and advisors of recruits who, because that's the game in college hockey. So it wasn't an inspiring hire, but after talking to Jeff Blashill and after talking to Alan Haller, I understand the reasons for it. And there's a difference when you say how he's not just Cole 2.0. I know he comes from the National Team Development Program, and so there's that pedigree. But he's coached in the NHL, which is a little different. I think his connections there are more recent. His personality is different. His style is different. I like Danton Cole as a tactician. I think he was a good person. I think there were things as a coach on the ice he did real well.
but something that I know Alan Haller wanted, and you don't see in college hockey all the time. And this is sort of amazing considering the way all the other sports recruit. And in college hockey, a lot of times your head coach does not do a lot of recruiting. You have one of your two assistants is like on the road almost all the time, even missing games, to recruit. And Cole was not heavily involved in the recruiting the way that Nightingale will be. And that was a big thing that I think that Alan Haller wanted. But they're just different people. They're slightly different age groups. I mean, Nightingale never played for Ron Mason. He came in under the Rick Conley era. Just different people, different paths, other than that, the U.S. national team deal. So as for the advisory committee, I think Anson Carter and Abdul Kader and Ryan Miller and those guys, I mean, I understand they're not in college hockey, but they're people who understand the sport and understand what matters to NHL teams and how the program is perceived. And so we'll find out. I know they were really helpful to Alan Haller. They didn't tell him who to take. They talked about what the program really needed, and he kind of went off and figured it out with him and Jen Smith, the deputy AD.
Bo McJunkins. We can't compete with Providence and Minnesota State for hockey coach salary. Wouldn't a successful program pay for that salary? Not upset about the Nightingale hire, though. I
have not seen his contract yet. Here's the thing about hockey, though, is you can argue with Mel Tucker at $9.5 million. You can say, well, that's a lot of money. That's ridiculous money. Except,
oh my God, we won the lottery!
When you look at the finances of college football and how much MSU football brings in and how much they're relied upon, if you have a guy, you want to keep your coach and he's going to elevate your program to a certain level, he's worth $9.5 million, especially if you got donors paying almost half of it. In hockey, the best you're ever probably going to do is break even. That's the best you're going to do. So you can spend too much on a coach because then you can't break even. Now, Michigan State hockey has not broken even in a while. But hockey is not a sport that you make money. It's a revenue sport only because it's, other than football and basketball, and men's basketball is the only other sport you cannot lose money. But so, you also have to be reasonable about what you're willing to spend. And I frankly don't know entirely what they were willing to spend. And, Alan Haller said this is the fit he wanted. Whether he had a pretty good inkling somebody else wasn't going to take the job, I'm not exactly sure.
Nick Palmer up next. Need Graham to empty his notebook. Wipe off the donuts first. Number one, is there any news on Izzo's assistant coach? 2, was Ron Burton forced out? And 3, how is Rick Conley still getting blamed for the fall of MSU hockey?
I'll start with 3. You can't. For a while, I kind of bought into that.
He won a national championship, right?
Right, and the program had fallen off. He was forced out. But
I feel if you win a national championship, all right, thanks for the memories. Why would you ever rip on Rick Conley?
Well, he had let the program fall on hard times. And there's no doubt that early in the Onassis era, there was not a lot of talent in that program, and that was not necessarily Onassis' fault at that point. At this point, you're 3 coaches removed. It's, somebody, the administration should have found somebody who can fix it, and they didn't do it. So it's not on Rick Conley. Ron Burton, to my knowledge, it was not. Look, he was recruiting like a day before he left. I don't know exactly what went down, but I don't think 2 days or whenever that was before he left that he was intending to leave. So I don't know exactly what spurred it.
Yeah, but is he one of those Joe Lunch Pail guys that I'm going to work till the bitter end?
Maybe
one of those things.
He winds up at a MAC school, right?
Yeah.
And they brought in a pass rush specialist and another guy. I think there was some movement there. On Izzo's assistant coach, I have not, since I got back from vacation, reached out there.
Don't coach my team.
Just from the people in my sphere, nobody has said anything yet that's imminent, that a hire is. Now, that doesn't mean it's not going to happen later this week. But I would really expect it to happen. Certainly, I would guess by the end of next week.
I'm
I would
guessing
think
Thursday or Friday, whenever we're not on the air.
Whenever we're not,
next.
Yeah. It'll happen to me when I'm least not paying attention or I'm, had some whiskey or something like that.
Yeah, Izzo, do it at 1 a.m.
And I saw some reports about Maurice Joseph out there. I would actually be a little surprised by that hire, but maybe not. Just some people I've talked to didn't see that coming if that's the way it goes.
Matt C. So I'm supposed to be excited on what a failed NHL coach thinks about the MSU hockey hire? LOL.
Well, the thing you have to understand about Blashill, and
So
maybe
he doesn't know anything about hockey anymore?
Well, and this is forget the idea that Blashill's just been in hockey, in the NHL. But beyond that, and I think that is important because he understands what NHL teams value in terms of where their players are. Beyond that, though, he is the standard in a lot of ways for what you want in a college hockey hire. I mean, he's the guy who came in. I mean, he's first of all, he was a young assistant at Ferris at Miami, Ohio, I believe, and then was in the USHL, comes to Western Michigan, takes over a program that won 8 games the year before, and his first year there, they get to the CCHA championship, make the NCAA tournament. He gets hired by the Red Wings. His assistant, I mean, he kind of got that program on the right track. They kept it up with Andy Murray. His assistant on that first staff, Pat Ferschweiler, is now still the head coach at Western, which is a program that's in great shape, despite a school that until recently was in real financial trouble. I mean, Blashill is the poster boy for what you want. He is exactly what he knows what it takes to win in college hockey more than anything. And to me, when I was chatting with him, I was like, sure you didn't want, like if you could have got him, that's ideal. So don't think of it like just the Red Wings. This is a guy who was a wildly successful college hockey coach and would be the top choice for just about anybody, any program in college hockey if they have an opening.
Kurt Wisniewski, will the Lions be okay after drafting a defensive end with the 46th pick when Hutchinson disappoints?
So,
well, if he disappoints at number 2,
yeah,
everybody's screwed.
Right. You don't recover unless the 46th pick is better than you ever thought. I mean, you can get away with it if you're a GM and the 46th pick winds up being a Hall of Famer and the second pick flames out. It's like, oh, well, we got one of them right.
Got lucky.
But, yeah, if Hutchinson disappoints, it's a problem.
Yeah. Wisniewski with this one. How much longer will the rebuilds of the Wings and Tigers take?
So, yeah.
Buenos tardes. It is time for the Detroit Tigers gambling update with Gramanito Couch and Jason Nick.
The Wings, I don't really have a sense of this. They obviously made the move to fire Jeff Blashill, and I think that had a lot to do with Steve Yzerman thinking they're ready to take that step now, because Blashill's known as a really good player development coach, right? And I think they can. It was time for a new voice as they try and take the next step. The Tigers, we thought this year, and I still think this year they could be a 500 team.
Why do I want to pick the Wings with this question, though? I just feel like in hockey, I think hockey is easier to turn around. If you look at today, with Fredo's a 2017 first-round pick, I mean, you have to wait for these guys, especially with injuries. You don't know what's going to happen with Riley Green. I feel like the Red Wings maybe have a decent foundation with Yzerman, another offseason new coach.
I feel like the Tigers, though, whatever this year becomes, next year will be the year. We were just wanting it a year too early, and the injuries have not helped. They've got like 6
if
key
it could
guys
be
out.
A year in the next few here. I'm getting older. Jesus.
Yeah, no, sure.
Kurt Wisniewski, Pete's or Starbucks, iced or hot, donuts or cronuts?
I don't even know what a cronut is.
Oh yeah, I've had one.
What is it?
It's like a donut, but it's like a cronut.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Let's look it up.
All right. Hold on. Off.
Dominoes falling, cockburn, right in the streets.
What's Pete's? I'm guessing a coffee joint.
Cronuts. It's like it looks like a donut. Homemade cronuts. I don't really understand.
They were hot in New York like 5-6 years ago.
It's like
People
a croissant.
They were waiting in line for them.
Yeah, I don't know. If Groovy Donuts doesn't make it, I got zero interest. Speaking of Groovy Donuts, by the way, Groovy Donuts has Mother's Day specials going on right now. The Mother's Day bouquet, so to speak, a funky hubcap. That looks incredible, like a Happy Mother's Day insignia, roses, everything. The other thing they have back as part of their Mother's Day specials is the strawberry cheesecake donut. And if you get a chance to have this, Jason and I both got to bite into one last week.
Oh my goodness, it was so great.
It was amazing. It's worth it. I love
the donut. I never make it home with all the donuts. I have to eat at least 5.
That's not how I sound, is it?
I don't know.
I mean, can you? I hope not. They've got some other great donuts. Again, available this Friday, May 6th through May 8th. Pre-order only. Go to groovydonuts.com to place your order. Make Groovy Donuts part of your Mother's Day my mom doesn't eat sugar, but I'm still going to make
Ever?
No, she's not a sugar eater. Well, not anymore in the last 20 years. But I am I'm going to make groovy donuts part of my Mother's Day. I will give them the donuts to her, and then when she can't eat them, I will eat them for her.
Like she's holding them for you.
Like the great son.
All right, can I try an impression of you again?
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
He's got a stupid looking face. Thank you.
He's got a stupid looking face.
Pete's or Starbucks? Give me Pete's. I go Pete's. I like
don't
Pete's.
do coffee.
There you go.
Eastlick. Who do you think wants Max Christie to go pro more, Christie or Christie's circle? He has a circle.
Yeah, his people. That's a good question. I think Christie does. I think Christie wants to go pro, but I also
Who
think
doesn't want to go pro?
Yeah, it's a good
Is
question.
it a good move for him, though?
I don't have a full sense of his of who's influencing him. I know there's some AAU coach influence. I know parental influence. He's got nice parents, good people. I don't think they're not looking. They're not people who need their kid to get rich quick. They're not looking for what's bad for him. I think they think this is what's best for him. The question is, are they right?
Next one from Chris Eastlick. Do you think Izzo saw this Amani Bates writing on the wall, and that's why they weren't interested after Bates considered committing a second time before Memphis?
I think Izzo had a pretty good feeling about Amani Bates after recruiting him, having him commit, watching what happened with Jaden Akins. And, this is, and Memphis basically booted him at this point. I hope he, for his sake, gets somewhere where he is away from his pops and he's got a coach who knows the game and holds him accountable and he's willing to be held accountable. He's got a stupid-looking face.
Oh, come on, dude. That's not very nice. Chris Eastlick, do you think Gavin Haas commands the attention at the lunch table with Couch in the Rube topics? Up next at Thursday's lunch, abortion debate.
I can imagine. Gavin.
Him and Tony Dombrowski could have a podcast.
Do you think Tony is older than Gavin?
I mean, he doesn't. He looks like he's 12, but I think he's like 40.
Oh, is he? Okay.
I don't know. Gavin, with this one, Gavin Haas. Is C.J. Stroud the first quarterback drafted next year?
It's either him or Bryce Young, at least that's what we think right now. The thing you have to remember, though, is wasn't Joe Burrow was like projected as a third-round pick before that year he had? Like somebody could – there are a number of guys who are considered possible first-rounders, and somebody could have a year from now we're going, yeah, that's the dude. So, I mean, right now those are the clear guys. But
by the way, if there were technology back when I was like 15 or 16, I would have been Tony Dombrowski. So if Tony, you hear this, believe me, that you remind me of a young, like 15-year-old Rube. That was exactly how excited I would get for shit like that. Next from Gavin. Will MSU bring in another offensive line transfer?
I don't know. They have one. They had one each year. I think that, and I have to look at the count. I think they have room for maybe one more player total. I haven't looked at who's in the portal and available for the offensive line. The thing is, you got to make your team better. Like, who's out there at that position? And the offensive line transfers are going to be different than other positions, even in this new name, image, and likeness and transfer portal, for two reasons. One, they're not guys who are going to command big NIL deals. They can't hold their programs hostage like the kid at Miami in basketball or whatever. They're offensive linemen. I mean, the deal that the Michigan State offensive lineman had was like for free meals, last year at a restaurant in East Lansing. So that's the sort of deal they get. And the other thing that happens with linemen, and this is why you wind up with kids committing early, and you wind up with offensive linemen at mid-major schools sometimes who are better than other places, because they like to go somewhere they're comfortable. They like to commit early. They tend not to leave. These are usually big, awkward kids coming out of middle school. They weren't just these superstar diva. They're just different dudes. And so I don't know who's available and who makes their team a whole lot better.
Gavin Haas. Do any of MSU cornerbacks have a 2013 Darqueze Dennard-like season?
Boy, Amir Speed, the transfer, but he's been around a little bit. Like Darqueze, they could see that coming after 2012. Is it Brantley, the freshman? To me, it would have to be somebody who is new enough to the game that.
And it would be a complete shock if someone did, though, right? To
some degree. Josiah Scott was a guy who, they talked about, and you could, I mean, he just, but there wasn't a guy like that last year who quite had that, who could stuck to people the way Josiah Scott did. I would be surprised if it happens.
Molon Lobby Spartan. How will MSU football compete in the NIL era? Bama and the SEC schools have many millionaire donors. Ishbia has the ability, but does he want to treat MSU like his own pro sports team? The 5 stars are checking out MSU, but will they come without the money?
Yeah, a lot of these places are creating these
like no money at all?
These funds. And what's going to be fascinating, and I listened to a pretty good conversation today on the Field of 68, which had Matt Painter on it. It had a mid-major basketball coach. It had Will
Tiemann.
Hunter Dickinson. It had and an agent on there. It was fascinating. I mean, the big regret, I think, is that they could have kicked the one-time transfer rule down the road a little bit, which they regret now because the NIL combining with it was a disaster. And they needed to get a hold of NIL, which they all agree was a good thing to a certain degree on its own before the one-time transfer rule came into play. If people get a chance to listen to it, it's really good. You can find it on Twitter or the Field of 68. Not trying to promote other people's podcasts. I'm just saying it was really good discussion. So it's going to be interesting where all of this goes. And like Nick Saban kind of put out a warning. He said, okay, we doing this? Okay, then we're doing this. Then I'm going to fucking get everybody. And
oh, wait, I already do.
Right, but if you want to challenge me on this, we can put together donors who have the cash, and it'll be interesting to see what MSU is willing to do and how desperate their money people are. I've always thought in football that it's more likely to spend than hoops, because in hoops they've sort of had it for a long time without needing that. In football, they are desperate to keep up with Michigan. They're desperate to be what Ohio State is. They're desperate to be something that they got a little bit of a taste of with Mark D'Antonio, and I think you'll see money people willing to spend to make that happen.
Does Alabama have billionaires? Or just one billionaire? I mean, someone tell Ishbia that Saban's talking shit. Like, okay, really? Let me just throw $500 million at this. Shut your ass. Clint Bainey, what is cheesier? Little Caesar's Crazy Bread or Matt Sheehan from Locked On Spartans?
See, I like Matt and his cheese. I've done
Who's Matt Sheehan?
He's a great dude.
Okay.
And I'm not saying Clint's not saying it. I've done his podcast a number of times.
But you're cheesy, and we still love you.
I'm definitely cheesy. That's
right.
maybe why I like Matt.
It's not a bad thing, I guess.
Yeah.
It's not very flattering if you're Matt Sheehan. Clint Bainey. What MSU team plays in a postseason game first, baseball or hockey? Damn. Here.
Bottom line is I could see that game going one way or the other.
Pretty much that.
Yeah, I mean, baseball's on a 6-game winning streak, right? But, hockey is as hard as it is to turn that around. Maybe Nightingale gets some dudes right away, guys who follow him. There's a lot. The one thing he has going for them is there's a lot of guys in the transfer portal. There's a lot of fluctuation in hockey that doesn't exist in other sports. For example, you have guys committed who are slated to go back to juniors. Well, maybe you want them right away. Maybe you get some guys to decommit elsewhere. I think I'll go hockey just because we haven't seen it in baseball in so long. We haven't seen it in hockey either, but it's a great question, Clint.
Next one for Bainey. What 2 linebackers start against Western Michigan this fall?
Well, Cal Halliday is going to be one. I think it's a good question. I'll make Brule the other guess.
All right, Junior. How long does Brandon Jordan stay at MSU if he is successful and greatly improving the pass rush?
So Brandon Jordan's interesting because he did not, he keeps tweeting about this too, how grateful he is, how much he was overlooked, how he was a volunteer assistant at a high school not that long ago. And, I mean, I think there is some I'm not saying that he can't be bought, that they're not going to have to keep raising his salary, that there won't be better opportunities because he's got a great brand and he's got a lot of pros coming up. I'm surprised other people haven't wanted him to this point. So that'll be interesting. But I do think he likes this opportunity. He thinks it's really cool. And as long as he feels that way and as long as they're letting him bring his pro guys up to train and all that stuff, I could see him staying for a few years.
So what do you mean about the tweeting out stuff? He can't be proud of maybe people overlooking him and look at now everyone's coming to to his school or whatever he does. Right?
Yeah, no, I'm not
Even
knocking-
Michigan guys are coming on Michigan State's campus.
No,
That's
I'm not
crazy.
knocking that. What I'm saying is that he tweeted, and I'm not knocking this either. He tweeted the other day, just about like 7 years ago, I couldn't even get a job. I had to volunteer at a high school.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is I think he's appreciative of this. Like, so you can look at him and go, wow, he's a big deal. That's really cool. MSU has him. I don't think he views himself as a big deal because he views it like people weren't giving him a shot, and Mel Tucker did. So I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if he does a few years.
Junior up next. Coach Cap is a well-respected offensive line coach. So why does it seem like it's been difficult for Michigan State to find offensive linemen in the portal?
Goes back to what I talked to before. There's aren't a lot of these guys. They've actually, I think, done pretty well. They've landed 2 of them in 2 years that there should be starters for them. It's not a position where you find seasoned guys. Like if you're an offensive lineman and you're in the portal, chances are you didn't work out. They don't want those guys. Think about what's his nuts? The 5-star kid from a couple years ago. Fuck.
We had him on A-hole a lot.
Yeah. Hold on.
Let's go.
This is gonna kill me. Oh, fuck me. I can't even. Hold on. I gotta look this
Another
up.
minute 55.
Yeah. It's just
You
gonna.
guys want to fast forward through this shit?
It's his name. Hold on.
Cockburn.
People are like throwing their phones right now. Like if this is your lawn mowing podcast, you just.
How do we
gone
not
over.
have Verizon as a sponsor? People throwing their phones at the wall and having to go get new phones.
Yeah. No, it's not. It's not great. Hold on. Devontae Dobbs. Good
Oh,
God.
thank God. We can still do the show.
Some people are just have given up. Like most people aren't even listening to the rest of the show.
Punching their phone.
But you don't want that dude in the transfer portal, probably. That's not who that's the thing. You're just not getting. Maybe we'll start to see a few guys at mid majors want to transfer up who are offensive linemen, but why would you really need to? Like, look at the kid from Okemos, Taylor Moton, who was at Western Michigan, who Michigan State didn't offer. Wound up being a 2nd-round pick. Like, there's no need, and you're not a diva position. Like, if I'm an offensive lineman, nobody's cheering for me whether I'm in a Big Ten stadium or they're cheering for the guy running the ball or a MAC stadium. I just these guys aren't as available, I would say.
Ron Quixote, over under time. Number 1, Lions wins this season, 6.5. 2, first team all Big Ten football players for MSU this season, 1.5. And 3, the number of groovy donuts that Graham could eat and keep down in one late night Raccoon Graham binge session, 5.5.
Oh, I could go well over 5.5. That's easy. Well, and I'll put it like this: when we did the Groovy Donuts, contest where I had to eat as many as I'd try and eat a dozen in 10 minutes or whatever it was. The first 6 were the best experience of my life.
Donuts. I love donuts.
I mean, by far, it's not even close. I mean, I don't have kids yet, so maybe that'll be it. But it's like that food eating donut contest. My wedding day is a distant second. Just kidding. Luckily, I know
Thank God you said you were just kidding.
my wife's asleep. She knows not to listen. But so
She listens to Locked On Spartans.
Matt Sheehan, yeah, she and
Right
are
now,
having,
she's listening to
are having a little tryst.
I didn't say that. This got weird.
It did get weird. First team all Big Ten football players for MSU over 1.5. I think Jaden Reed's got a pretty good chance to be that. Is there another guy? Yeah, give me the over. I think 1.5 is where you'd set it though. That would be pretty good if they can get 2 of them. What do you think? Lions wins the season over 6.5?
I think I would take the over.
I would.
Like I said, they pieced together a season last year where they won more. I don't know. I would take the over. Depends on what price you get. But Boona. Are you staying off Twitter to have plausible deniability when asked questions about how it's different since Elon bought it?
No, my getting off Twitter was only vacation driven.
Just terrible timing.
And the fact that I referenced the price of Elon's purchase of Twitter made it even more confusing for people. But that's just I kind of suck at a lot of the things I do in life.
Boona. What's the best part of seeing Hamilton live? When they say thank you, good night.
No, Hamilton's incredible. Saw it at Wharton here in East Lansing and had good seats, which I would say is worth spending on because it's already expensive. Like you're going to do the night, get good seats. And I People never stop moving. It's just an incredible.
It was at Wharton, right?
Yeah.
Did you get snacks?
We did not get. We went out beforehand.
Good idea.
I think we might even go to Midtown Brewing Company that night.
You
beforehand.
should.
Yeah.
The snacks are interesting there.
Anyway, Boona. Good to have you back on the pod. By the way, been a while. One of my
all right.
Favorite
Don't 69 the listeners too. It's weird. We get it. You love everyone. Boona. What's your opinion on placemats at the dinner table?
Where are you at on this?
I don't like eating at the dinner table, so I don't even like placemats. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to me, if it's something that distracts kids who are annoying at the dinner table, I'm with it. Like if it, they can color on it, or there's
get them their own
presidents or something. What's that?
Get them their own table. The kids.
Kids table.
I mean,
yeah.
It's like when you're a kid, you had to sit at the table and stuff. Now that you're an adult, you go sit in front of the TV like you always wanted to. I'm a man. I'm 43. Steve Beckman. Did Tom Izzo's attendance trigger the Spartans in this Warriors-Grizzlies series to think that they're in the war drill without pads? That game was an Izzo-esque grinder with shades of Mo Pete.
It was. First of all, that breaking your elbow or whatever is a shitty injury.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, it was.
Brooks, what are you doing?
It felt like a playoff game, though. It felt like, it was. I don't know.
It was a playoff game.
That's a good point.
That's why it felt that way.
Thank you.
Steve Beckman. Now that the NFL draft, March Madness, and the Super Bowl are done, will you send prizes to the winners of your contest? Asking for myself again.
Yes, Steve. And this has moved
up.
up.
Just take him out to lunch already.
No. This has moved up my list quite a bit. I like Steve a lot. I know Steve. He's a good dude.
All right. Steve Beckman. If Trevor Darnell set the Lansing Common FC season-long goals line at 40, would you take the over or under?
So what do they have, about 14 games or something like that, I believe? Maybe it's 13, 14. So they're talking 2.5. Give me, you know what? There's going to be some game where they run it up on a team or two that aren't very good. So give me the over. I would take the over on that. I wish that line existed. If somebody could make that happen, I'll talk to Firekeepers, iCasino and Sportsbook. If we can get a Lansing Common FC over-under goals line, I would be very, 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 very impressed.
Kevin from Rochester Hills. Diego Maradona's Hand of God jersey sold for over $9 million. How much would you pay for a jersey? I know who Maradona is. What is the Hand of God jersey, though? I don't know that.
So it's the jersey he was wearing in the 86 World Cup when they beat England, and he has a header that goes off his hand, but they don't have replay back then or anything. Like today, that goal would be disallowed. But it's the jersey he was wearing when people thought he headed it in, but it hit his hand. And they call it the Hand of God. What would you
$9 million? I mean, that has to be some oil money or something. People are just tossing. I mean, if I had enough money, like a Pistol Pete Maravich, authentic worn Atlanta Hawks jersey or something.
Would that be like if you had one jersey? I won't ask you how much you'd spend on it because that's all relative to the money we have. But I'm saying, like, if there's one jersey you had to spend the most money on, what would it be?
Like I said, Pistol Pete Maravich, game worn, something from his career, yeah, like an LSU jersey or something like that. I mean, those things would probably get into the mid six figures. So if I had the money, I can't imagine what my collection would look like if I had money.
All right, let's take a really quick break, and we come back. Many more of your Groovy Donut Twitter questions, more from Kevin from Rochester Hills, Ryan Rockwell, Mark, Mr. Neurotic Pants, Todd Truesdell, the plus side softball dad with some good stuff, Spartan 18770, Sports Guy Al, and so on and so forth. Couch in the Rube, presented by Skyman Premium Cannabis, and also our good friends at the Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook. We'll be right back. Couch in the Rube.
Firekeepers Online Casino and Sportsbook is the site to play. Get your Vegas on right now from your phone, tablet, or laptop. All the hottest slots and tables, plus sports betting featuring in-game wagering. Download the app at firekeeperscasino.com. Go with the name you know. Firekeepers. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 or older and located in Michigan. Gambling problem? Call the Michigan Problem Gambling Helpline at 1-800-270-7117. Where else can you cheer on your team? Enjoy a mouth-watering burger or savory sushi. Sip on handcrafted cocktails or one of 46 beers on tap. Take your game day or date night to Cask & Company Kitchen Bar or Front 43 Neighborhood Pub near Frandor. Two amazing places with one awesome blended modern American Asian menu. Catch the game on one of 30 60-inch TVs or stop in for the all-you-can-eat lunch buffet. Enjoy happy hour or elevate your night out at Cask & Company or Front 43 on East Saginaw in Lansing. Wherever you are on your cannabis journey, let Sky Mint Premium Cannabis be your guide, your friend, and your place. Whether you're curious about cannabis or a seasoned connoisseur, Sky Mint's knowledgeable staff will help you with a vast selection of products to choose from to fit your needs. Sky Mint believes access to the best cannabis helps people do good and feel good, so they grow it right here in Michigan, giving you high-quality, locally grown cannabis at highly accessible prices. Visit skymint.com for special offers and location information throughout Michigan, and use the promo code CouchAndRube20 for 20% off your first visit. Sky Mint Cannabis. You'll love this place. Come enjoy irresistible, award-winning, handcrafted donuts and locally roasted coffee at Groovy Donuts. Surprise your family or coworkers with special holiday designs and flavors, or put the perfect finishing touch on an event with a custom order. Birthdays, weddings, gender reveals, our friends at Groovy Donuts are your answer. Experience the Groovy Donuts difference for yourself on Lake Lansing Road in East Lansing or in Williamston. Get more information or place an order at groovydonuts.com. Trust matters, especially when it's your money. Mark and Jay at North Coast Wealth Management work hard to build a relationship of trust by providing thoughtful, objective guidance and placing your interests first. Invest with knowledgeable financial advisors who are on your side. Call today and tell them you're a friend of the show for a no-cost, no-obligation consultation. 248-626-2000 and ask for Mark or Jay. Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor, member FINRA SIPC.
Find Couch and the Rude podcasts on Spreaker, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Google Podcasts, CastBox, and the Rube's favorite podcast addict.
The late tonight, around the late tonight, by my side.
Couch and the Rube, presented by Skymint Premium Cannabis, and our Wednesday night show brought to you by Firekeeper's Eye Casino and Sportsbook app. By the way, at Skymint right now, they've got some really cool deals going on, including buy one, get one half off on Skymint products and Skymint brands. Go to skymint.com for location information. Chances are you live within 30 minutes of a Skymint or less. Heck, there are 3 in the Lansing area.
If you don't, drive there anyway.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Kevin from Rochester Hills, betting Kentucky Derby. What 3 horses do you like?
All right, so yes, I am betting the Kentucky Derby because I'm a degenerate. And
I need to talk to my guy, Daily Double.
Okay.
Follows horse racing. I don't know.
No,
is that this weekend?
It is this weekend.
Shit.
So yeah, no. Download the Firekeeper's Eye Casino and Sportsbook app and bet the Kentucky Derby there. As I will be doing. Zandon is going to be the favorite. I've seen a number of people say it's 3-1. It's not great money, but a lot of people like him as their pick. There's like one name, Smile Happy, at 20-1. Finished second to Zandon at the Bluegrass recently. So that seems like good value. Plus, Smile Happy makes me think of Happy Spa, and I just giggle. So I'm probably going to put a little on
Happy Spa.
What's
Hawaii Spa?
Hawaii Spa. What's Happy Spa? Isn't there a Happy Spa place that's like Hawaii Spa?
Is that where Robert Kraft went? Happy Spa.
I think there's a sign for one of those places.
Going to Hawaii Spa.
I think there's one on the way to.
How bad you need a rub and tug if you're a billionaire and you're going to
That's not great.
Hawaii Spa?
Yeah, you would think if you're Robert Kraft,
yeah,
do you not just hire somebody to come to your home?
Oh, like a hooker,
or a masseuse, or something
like Deshaun Watson.
I don't. Whatever you or like an illegitimate masseuse. Yeah, something. I don't know. Whatever.
Instagram models that want to be with old rich guys.
Just don't
mind looking at your old man balls.
Yeah, you just don't hit up the
those poor women. Robert Kraft comes in like, oh, shit. Just close my eyes. Ryan Rockwell, Graham, thoughts in the World Cup in late fall instead of summer? I feel like potential U.S. viewers will miss out due to football and basketball overlap.
So I am
or anything interesting.
Yeah, no,
overlap.
I don't like it normally, and I won't like. I'm happy it's not a regular thing. I've come to terms with it because I love the World Cup in the summer. It would be great if it's this summer because there's not as much going on. Like a mid-June to mid-July World Cup is ideal. Like
I think you would like this kind of World Cup at that time because it's cold enough for you. It's like 40 degrees.
I do, but there's something in the summer when there's like going to a pub for like at 9 a.m. for a game that's in a different time zone somewhere, and hanging out with a bunch of people rooting for it. It's just fun in the summer. Now, I'll say I am looking forward to like Thanksgiving week. I think they play England on Black Friday or something like that. Like that week is going to be just intense. College basketball, college football, and World Cup soccer. And I don't think World Cup's going to take a back seat to anything. I don't. I think it'll be it's not great in the U.S. that it's that time of year, but I think if anything, some other things will take a back seat. I'm all in. I'm excited, and in fact, going to Penn State. If I go to Penn State for that tournament instead of the basketball, or for that football game that weekend instead of the basketball in Portland, I've already started to look at possibilities of flying through Chicago on a long layover so I can go to a bar with my buddy and watch the U.S. England before flying to State College.
Ryan Rockwell, Jason, I've got a bunch of unopened packs of late 80s, early 90s baseball cards. Would you sell them now or hold on to them? Oh, Ryan, I would sell them now. I mean, like 89 Upper Deck, you remember those, Graham, with the Ken Griffey Jr., the iconic rookie card from him. I mean, those go for a decent amount, but if you have any packs like that, if you want to send me a picture, we can price them out or something like that. But there's no better time to sell any kind of cards than right now.
Why do you say that? Why is it right now?
Just there's the boom that happened during the pandemic, and there was a lot of money inflated into it because of, the unemployment relief. A lot of guys sleeping over at Target and Walmart's waiting for boxes of cards. I don't know. There's just everyone is paying attention to cards right now, and the 80s early, the nostalgia kind of things with 80s and 90s is like coming back. The kids are dressing like the 90s and shit. So I would say sell them now. It's a good sign. Mark up next. Who is the better manager, Pep or Klopp?
Pep. So what happened with Pep Guardiola? I don't even pronounce his last name.
Who are we talking about?
Man City and Liverpool.
Fuck, I was
two
about to
managers.
say, like, what?
Sorry.
I was scared to ask because I thought they were like NBA coaches, and I have no idea who they are either.
Before Man City lost today, I would have gone. I love what Pep had going there, but man, Klopp is such a fit for Liverpool, and
Richard Klopp.
It's Jurgen Klopp, but
Cockburn.
I don't know. I would probably go Klopp. I love the culture they have. I love what they have at Liverpool. I love the way they play.
All right, Mark up next. If Nottingham Forest make the Premier League for the first time in 23 years, will you find it acceptable to adopt them as your new Premier League team? Did you give me hope with the couch jinx when you said that Everton were for sure going down? More of that, please.
Boy, I said that about Everton for sure, and then Everton had a great win over Chelsea.
Don't rip on his picks, because I don't want him to turn into like Super Graham Stout, where he's just so PTSD'd, where he's like, I don't want to give out a pick because I'm scared to be wrong. I
do like Nottingham Forest. I was really hoping they would beat Burnham last week, and it didn't happen. Yes, if Forest goes up and you're already yes, it's acceptable to adopt them as your new Premier League team.
Mark up next. Can you either confirm or deny the rumors that you are doing a Wednesday night show this week because Girls 5 Eva returns on Thursday?
You have me.
You know what? Graham did come to me and he was like, hey, want to do Tuesday, Wednesday? Tuesday, Wednesday. And when he's excited about something, you know something's up. Yeah. Usually it's like Tuesday, Wednesday. How about Wednesday, Thursday? Maybe Saturday morning. How about, do you want to come here at 4 a.m.? Let's just do a 4 a.m. show.
So here's the truth. I didn't actually know this, Mark, until I saw your question. And my wife and I had talked about it before that it's coming back. I am not going to tell her, though, because we are in this great, really cool binge watching of Chicago PD right now. We're like season 6, and I don't want to mess with that. And very few shows can get us off track. Like, we put every other show we watch down that we watch together. I have a feeling Girls 5 Eva she likes so much. And I like it well enough, obviously. I've talked about it.
Please, no one tweet at Elizabeth Couch on Twitter and tell her that Girls 5 Eva is back. Please, no one. Mr. Neurotic Pants. How many soccer teams does Lansing have? Will you goaltend for both of their halftime shows?
Oh, man. My wrist still hurts from one of the balls that went off it.
Say what now? Come again? Todd Trusadell. How many are there?
Well, there are 2 men's teams and a women's team. So the Lansing.
So 7.
So 7. There's that Waverly math kicking in.
Don't blame Waverly for the stupidity. They're to blame. But Todd Truesdell, when was the last time a team went to a Final Four without at least 10 scholarship players?
So right now MSU has 9. I think they'll wind up with more than that. It's a good question, but it's going to happen, by the way, at some point, because a lot of teams are going to have 10 or 11, and this is going to be the new way that teams leave openings to have roster flexibility, and it's harder to get kids to sort of build and develop and grow within a program because they're impatient and they leave. So it'll happen, I think, within the next I don't know if it'll be a Final Four team for sure, but you will see successful teams with small rosters in college basketball.
Next one from Todd, favorite 90s rock band. It's got to be Pearl Jam.
Yeah?
I was big into the grunge in the 90s through 94. Then I got into classic rock, hip-hop, all that stuff. So, yeah, I mean, Pearl Jam was my favorite band. Still is. One of my favorite. You?
I was a Springsteen.
Right said Fred?
Springsteen, you know. But
he's not a 90s rock band. He's like an 80s. We know who Bruce Springsteen is. Did he debut in the 90s?
I wouldn't say that I had one. I wasn't the music. I was listening to
the Rolling Stones were my favorite band of the 90s. No shit.
I was listening to R&B. I went to Lansing
Jodeci.
I was wearing like a Kangol hat on backwards, you know.
I can't rip on that.
I mean, you know, it's just yeah, I mean, I didn't have a lot of rock bands that I loved in the
backwards hat, Kangol hat, couch has to be the most punchable face on the planet.
Entirely.
Oh,
and
with those Oakley glasses.
I had
Where's the picture?
I had what do they call the fake ones? The Folkleys or whatever. The stupid looking face. I remember because going to like trips to like
Boakleys.
Going to New York and other big cities, like youth group trips, and there are all these people selling the fake Oakleys on the streets, and you got to buy them with your.
Hell yeah!
Those were stories not worth telling, but nonetheless presented by our friends at Midtown Brewing Company, 402 South Washington Avenue. They got their patio coming out here. It is a great vibe. I mean, look, I think it is a place that is a date night is really, really a place that'll impress your significant other. The menu, the food is fantastic. The vibe. And it's not a cliche. It's not a chain. It's a local place, and they do it right.
Todd, with this one, what is harder? Number 1, getting a hit off a minor league pitcher, or 2, getting a hole-in-one, and why? See, I'm scared to answer this because if I say getting a hole-in-one and shouldn't be close, people are going to try to get me to go to a fucking Lugnuts game and hit a ball. So they're both hard as hell. But I would guess, due to the odds, I would say getting a hole-in-one is harder.
I would disagree, but not say you're wrong. Because I don't want you to feel.
I could see that game going one way or the other.
Because what I mean is, it's in the eye of the beholder, so to speak.
No, it's not. Getting a hole-in-one. I mean, how many par threes are on an 18-hole course?
Here's the thing: a hole-in-one is there's no opponent other than the course, and it's got to be a par 3. But it happens, and it's sheer luck.
Imagine if a pitcher just ran around the mound, the first baseline, and everything, just threw a ball randomly, and you had to hit it.
Well, and here's what I would say, too. If you said to me a minor league pitcher was only going to throw fastballs at 92 miles an hour, 10 of them, and I've got to get a hit, eventually I think I'd make contact.
Just take a cut.
Right, but if the second they do anything with movement on it, I'm fucked.
Oh, yeah, you're screwed. It is difficult. I'm just saying, I'm guessing odds. The hole-in-one is harder. I don't know.
Yeah.
Plus-size softball dad. Our queen, Pat Benatar, was finally elected to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. What's your favorite Pat Benatar song?
Oh, it's We Belong Together.
That is a great song.
Yeah.
That is a great song. I'd play it, but I think we'll get banned.
Okay, yeah. Fantastic song. It used to be on my running. You don't want to hear my old running.
Sure do.
Song list.
That's a July topic.
Yeah, absolutely. There's
what's on your running list? Give us a call.
Because it's the type of song you can run well to it. You don't want other people to hear you.
Yeah, but then you start fucking crying though while you're running or something, right?
I don't know if you cry, but
it's a nice deep song.
You need. I don't know. It's that deep.
It is deep.
It's okay. Is it?
What
really?
is it? What are they talking? What is she talking about?
Maybe can we play it for 2 seconds? Will we get banned?
What is it called?
We Belong.
All right. Yeah, just let silence happen.
Yeah. Well, why
be a host and just let silence happen. You know,
this is why I'm really
in this business.
Well, he's really good. Again, Mother's Day. is this week. Make Groovy Donuts part of your Mother's Day, part of your graduations, whatever it is. Groovy Donuts will do your special occasions. Monica and Andrew will do it right. Go to groovydonuts.com to place your order today. 2 locations in Williamston and also on Lake Lansing Road in East Lansing. They're open 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. Thursday through Sunday.
Isn't this about dying or something?
I don't even know.
That's what I mean. Like, I feel like I just start crying.
Oh, it's incredible.
Oh, man, the 80s. Missed that. Can we go back? Plus size softball dad. I'm an LSJ subscriber. Do we get a top 50 list this summer?
I would like to do another one. I mean, they're exhausting to some degree, and but they're also fun, and they're something you can lean on and go back to, and so they're worthwhile doing. And I think people do like them. My question for you and for any listener would be, what list would you like? So I keep adding to the basketball top 50 at Michigan State, did the football top 50. What would make sense as a top 50? I'm open to doing it. I just don't have a logical one in my head is one that people would enjoy that would make sense for me to do it. If you have one and it makes sense, I'm 100% on board for sure.
Plus size softball dad. Do any of your friends call you Coach Beard after the Ted Lasso assistant coach?
They do not, but I've been called worse. I like that character, and I would 100% be if anybody thinks I look that way or sound that way, I would be 100% cool with that.
They've called you worse?
You've never. What's the worst thing? You've been called bad things in life, right?
Yeah, name it. Someone said it eventually about me. Spartan 18770. You have a group of people that 24/7 tells us live free and don't be or live free, excuse me, and don't be afraid. It's hot in here. Then turns around and tells us what to think and be fearful of. Why?
I think this has something to do with the Roe v. Wade thing. There's a lot of hypocrisy. We got into this a little on Tuesday night show.
Last night.
I don't know if it was well-construed thought, but...
Oh, stop. What? I can't... I'm pro-abortion. I don't know. I don't want them to take away abortion.
But what I mean is you're pro, but you think they should abort live children, though, too.
Not children. Like 15 to like 45-year-olds. Like if you make it past 45, you're off the abortion list. Spartan. It's a week like that makes Twitter ass. It's a week like this that makes Twitter ass. And yes, I understand the irony of my tweets here.
I'm with you, though. Like Twitter right now, but I also think Twitter is a place where a lot of people, there's some really good thought out there and on the Roe v. Wade discussion, and there are a lot of, I think people know which.
But would you go to Twitter to find it? I don't use Twitter for those kind of things.
Well, but it's also an outlet for people who need to express their frustration right now or need to express their opinion. I think that's okay, too. I think it can be a lot of, I think it's.
I think you should go down to the Capitol and scream at a building no one's in with a sign you made earlier this morning.
Yeah. I think you know where I stand. I think everybody here knows where I stand on this. And look, it's been a weird week on the old app.
Sports Guy 1919. If you won't do a Couch in the Rube golf outing, what about a summer 3-on-3 basketball tourney? You two can ref games and show us how it's done.
Refs are ass.
Totally.
Yeah.
I will put the whistle in my back pocket and you guys play. If there's blood, we stop the game.
Yeah, we're not great at organizing things, but at some point we will. I don't know if a golf outing, maybe a golf outing is our thing. I think people are
go back to the Steve Beckman tweet about our contest,
right?
You'll realize why.
These all sound like great things to do, and at some point I would love to do something like this, though.
Here's what needs to happen: someone else needs to facilitate something, and we put our names on it and then show up.
That's really
like us from the ground floor. It's not going to happen. Like if this sports guy wants to get this tourney together,
I would
put us on it. A little money.
I would happily do at some point, and I just don't know if it's going to happen this summer, but I do think at some point I would love to do something that was listener appreciation based. And those sort of things.
The day of.
No, that's not what I said.
Al, what are your takes on Sage Steele's lawsuit against ESPN?
I don't know. I've like glanced at headlines, but I haven't really read up on this. I don't know what's happening.
I read about it, and then I turn on the TV, and she's anchoring SportsCenter. I just find it weird if you have a lawsuit. Like if we had a lawsuit against Spotlight, do you think we'd be doing the show right now? That's what I know. She has a contract, so are they making her?
Do you think Spotlight knows we're here?
No. I'm just giving an example. right? Like, it's just weird that you're suing the company and then they're still allowing you to be on air.
I didn't realize she was still on ESPN.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's something I need to look more into because obviously that makes it interesting to me. And it's something about coworker refused to. I don't know. I don't want to get into
Thanks for
something I
that
don't know.
synopsis. Fuck, Jesus.
Fix that in post, please.
What a terrible attempt. Al, is Ja going to become the next face of the NBA? If not, who will?
He's got a chance.
How can he not be?
He's a 40.
It's not Zion.
Right. You know what? 47 last night.
Yeah.
So, geez,
He's fun to watch.
He is.
He did an in-game dunk I've never seen before in my life.
Like, who else would be, like, when you think about young dudes and that?
I mean, is Steph considered a young dude anymore?
No. Next face. Yeah, it's got to be somebody in that of his age group. And it's always possible that somebody who was a rookie this year could take off Cade Cunningham, or that, like, Anthony Edwards could really take the next step and something like that could happen.
But when you're considering the next face of the NBA, it's who kids are looking up to and who they want to emulate, right?
First of all,
we're doing it.
He's got an attractive game, right? It's fun to watch. He plays with a joy to him. He's got a great name, Ja, right? It's a good name.
And most of those guys that are like under 6'3", that people love those guys because everyone is under 6'3".
Yep.
Al, with this one, is there any merit? Or is there our merit to the rumors about?
I might have fucked this up, or he did. One of the two.
All right. Is there any merit to the rumors about Maurice Joseph coming back to be an assistant?
You know, I have not asked Tom Izzo directly this, but when I saw that somewhere on Twitter, and in the course of conversation with one other person who's sort of a little bit plugged in, they were a little surprised to hear that name. That doesn't mean it's not happening. It doesn't mean it's not happening, but they were a little surprised. So I don't know if that's what's.
Wait, they were surprised hearing the names, but it might happen.
Well, I'm just saying it's not. It wasn't Tom Izzo who I was having the conversation with.
Oh,
so
okay. Jason Akins. Scott Skiles' name was brought up in the last show. What is he doing now? You should write about Skiles and Jeff Smoker.
I agree. I should write about both of those. And I don't know exactly what Skiles is up to, but but as soon as I saw this tweet today, I have a file of you talk about things we don't follow through with here. At the LSJ we do, though. We have a file for summer plan story ideas that we're going to chase and go after. And both Scott Skiles and Jeff Smoker are on it.
But Skiles and Smoker have to be willing to talk.
Totally.
Right? I mean, you can't just come up with a story.
Yeah. You got to reach out and you got to say, hey, I'd love to tell your story. And you hope they're willing to do it.
Tyrone Couch up next. If you could have brought back one person that died in their prime, non-zombie, who would it be? Think of all the impacts, like Jesus would stop the whole salvation thing. A, Tupac. B, Kurt Cobain. C, Elvis. D, that hot porn star, 2016. Okay. E, Biggie Smalls. F, JFK. G, Jimi Hendrix. Also, I guess Elvis didn't die in his prime. I had my Tony D.
I hadn't.
Jeez, you're really effing me today, Couch.
Sorry.
I had bit my head Tony D. Coffee yet. That's what it says.
I think he was a funny joke, and I didn't edit it well. He hadn't had his Tony D. Coffee.
Oh my God, we won the lottery!
I apologize, Tyrone, because that was a good joke, and I fucked it up for you. So of those people,
who's the porn stars 2016?
Yeah, I don't know.
I need names.
One person who could come back and one person that died you want to bring back. I mean, I don't know if any of those people would be the people.
Hendrix? It would have been fun to see what Hendrix would have done. Biggie?
Sure, same with Tupac.
Yeah.
I mean, that would have been fun to see, but if one person, I don't know.
I mean, the hot porn star in 2016, is that person dead? Like, what? Okay. Tyrone Couch, how long do you sleep each night? If I don't get 8 to 9 hours, I'm a whiny bitch. My friend is a 4.5-hour sleeper and thinks I'm weird.
How long do you sleep?
Well, recently, about 6 hours. 6.5, around there. But, yeah, I'm with Tyrone, though. 8 to 9 hours,
it's ideal.
It's ideal. But
Yeah.
the people that do the 4 all the time, it's
amazing. I don't know how you do that. Like, to me,
either.
I can do 6, 2 or 3 nights in a row, and then I need an 8 or 9. And I love 8 hours sleep. I love a Skyman edible, ease into the night, and then 8 hours later, I feel fantastic. And
roast umber coffee. Tyrone with this one. Why are people so bad at driving? My 45-minute commute will have at least 5 impatient people do stupid shit. passing 4 to 5 cars at once or on the shoulder, passing up a hill, slow down, stop running people off the road. We don't have a groovy donuts to get to. The South is ass.
There's just a lot of bad drivers in the world.
Yeah.
It's just
all over.
Yeah, and it doesn't get, yeah. And I have friends who are bad drivers too. Like it's not even a character flaw necessarily. It's something, it's not safe. But what I mean is there are lots of good people in the world. I'm like, God.
What makes them a bad driver, though, in your eyes? Jamming on the brakes, doesn't know how to park.
I mean, my mother we used to have a car we used to joke like was scared to turn left because of my mom. I've been in a couple accidents with it. It's just she's a little herky-jerky with the brake. And my wife cannot ride in the passenger seat with my mom. She will get sick to her stomach. It's like, okay, and then my dad was the opposite on long trips growing up. I'm like, Dad, we're at 60. Okay, can we get to 65 miles an hour? This is going to take us 18 hours. What are we doing?
Back in the day, my stepmom drove with 2 feet, and we had a Cavalier Z24 with the stickiest brakes on the planet, and I almost threw up when we lived in Rochester and all those Michigan roundabout. Oh, my God. Anyway, all right, Hans Jurgens. Does Spartan Speak get more downloads than Couch in the Rube? I would hope so.
That's a good question. I don't pay attention to.
I mean, we get a good amount.
We do well.
I would think that more people would listen to that are.
I would say
don't want to hear my shit.
Not in peak football time. I would say we do at least as well. But yeah, they do. We do one a week over there. So often there's a build up more. We do 3 shows a week, right? So, but it's not far off, and it really isn't.
Next one from Hans. How do you keep someone else's unusual personality and habits not annoying but endearing? I'm not good at that.
No. Well, why are you asking us?
Oh, yeah. I think we're endearing sometimes.
Does Therese think you're endearing?
She's marrying me.
There you go.
Yeah.
It just takes one.
Damn straight. Hans Jurgen. Are you disappointed when my questions aren't gross? Yeah, sometimes. But sometimes they go off the rails.
And you don't even see the ones that sometimes go off the rails. I don't even include them.
I know. You should go back and look at some of these.
Yeah.
Which ones do you leave out? Let's get to Jake Hawkins, the Hawk. Who would be the perfect replacement for Mark Emmert? What credentials must the next NCAA president have?
I don't know who the person would be, but the credentials, to me, what would be really important is, first of all, they got to be younger. They can't look like Mark Emmert. Right? That's
just
part of the
need
problem.
one to say yes.
You can't have a stupid face. But you've also got to have somebody who's, I think, a former Division I athlete in the last 25 years and sort of speaks from that experience. And, they've obviously got to be, it can't just be an athlete who just, hey, 4 years ago I was an athlete. It's got to, it's got to be some real qualifications in terms of somebody who's run an organization and all that stuff. But you've got to have somebody who's willing to listen, somebody who comes in with a really fresh approach. I think somebody from outside the NCAA who sees some of its flaws. And I think there are a lot of people in this world who'd be really good at it, and they just got to make sure they don't keep fucking it up, and they got to pick one of them.
Next from Jake. Should tell your fans feel grateful that they and the team aren't in the same positions as other teams with horrible records like Baltimore, Texas, or even worse, Cincinnati.
So, like the Tigers split today with Pittsburgh. Yeah. And like I told you, the doubleheaders always bet the team that lost in the second game of a doubleheader. It's like clockwork.
But does Baltimore, Texas, or Cincinnati have a future? The Tigers have a future, what feels like a future. Anyway.
I would much rather be the Tigers than any of those clubs. Cincinnati's owner is like threatening to leave town. Baltimore is not paying anybody. I don't really know.
I feel
Texas
bad for
situation.
any of these teams, people that are fans of these teams, like the Athletics and the Pirates. Like,
that's brutal.
F off.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Jake, with this one. Did Julius Marbold make a good decision choosing to transfer to Texas A&M?
Well, I think he made a good decision for him, and that he wanted to be close to home, and that he did that. And you saw
he looked happy.
Yeah, you saw the picture with his mom there, and here's a guy who a year and a half ago lost his dad, and I think it's been a real struggle. And he wanted to be where he could drive, and his mother could drive to see him. He could drive to get home. I think he just wanted to be close to home, and you can't fault somebody for that.
We know well, Graham, losing a parent like at our age was rough. I mean, losing a parent at 20 years old or whatever he was, and having your mom far away, that would suck.
Yeah, no, there's
really tough.
There's no question. there's part of me when I look at that and think about it that way, I'm surprised he lasted as long as he did at Michigan State.
Yep. Next one from Jake. Thoughts on the $130 million bond getting approved to rebuild 4 Lansing schools and renovate Sexton High School? What improvements would you make to Sexton if it were up to you?
Well, I'd bring back all the kids who are freaking school choicing it out of town. But no, what I would really do, when you get to $130 million, you're only about double that from a true Lansing promise, which would mean enough money to pay for every kid to go to college for free in state, and that would have an effect on the district, unlike any bond that they can do, and that's what's really needed.
Is that a bond from like the Michigan Lottery Commission? I mean, where is the Michigan Lottery money that they claim that they give?
Well, they do. That's state money, but this is a bond from Lansing residents. This is tax money that's going to the Lansing schools.
Right, but how much piece of the pie do they get from the Michigan Lottery Commission?
It's supposed to be like half for the schools, I think, right? Is that what it's supposed to be? It's like 50%.
All I know is they keep saying billion with a B. So, and everybody's crying poor. Last one from Hawk. Is Draymond Green getting to be out of control now that he's flipping the bird?
No, I think Draymond Green's now who he's been, right? I mean, I don't think.
But is it going to get out of control giving fans the bird? I don't blame these guys. If you're going to sit there, the fans, I guess they're allowed to yell at you, but if they step over the line, why can't you give them the finger?
Yeah, and to me, giving the finger is almost a, I don't want to say classy way, but it's a way of confrontation and letting your feelings be known without physical violence, or it's a way of doing
but
it.
It can incite problems.
I guess.
I don't know.
I
mean, Dave Chappelle, someone went on stage last night and attacked him or tried tackling him.
And then his arm broken by trying to do it pretty badly. A good lesson there for people trying to do that. Look, Draymond Green to me is a gem. I like listening to him. I like players that are genuine. And Draymond Green has always been that. I covered him right when I started covering Michigan State. He's always been an interesting person. He's always said what's on his mind. And I want that genuine nature to remain.
Because that's what we ask for, right?
Absolutely. It's outstanding.
More guys being real.
And if the moment he flips somebody the bird, I'm for it. I didn't mean to flip our listeners the bird. I love you guys. We appreciate all of you taking part. We appreciate you adjusting with our schedule and getting all your Groovy Donut Twitter questions. And we appreciate Groovy Donuts. Again, Mother's Day Groovy Donuts. I'm telling you, the strawberry cheesecake donut, worth your time. Go to groovydonuts.com. We also appreciate Firekeeper's iCasino and Sportsbook app. Download it today. Play the Kentucky Derby. Play the Tigers games, the NBA games, anything. It's a great user-friendly app. Have your casino and sportsbook at your fingertips. We appreciate Midtown Brewing Company. Great place for a date night, a lunch with a colleague, brunch this weekend. I'm telling you, you will love the menu and beer selection and vibe at Midtown Brewing Company. And we appreciate Skymint. Go to Skymint Premium Cannabis. It'll help you get through this show. Trust us. Couch in the Roof. Good